No, potatoes aren't supposed to be that color. Hey, how's everybody doing? This is DM Cheshire Cat with Four Story Games. I am super excited to jump back into another episode of Limbonauts as these crazy guys decide to come back and play another game with me because, a lot of people don't. So I'm glad these guys come back and enjoy it. So, as usual, we're going to run around and I would like you to introduce your character. First yourself and your character, and then I want you to answer a question that I will ask you. We've done this before. If this is your first time tuning into Limbonauts, a lot of these games are built based on the characters, and this game will be more so built based on what the players want to do. So I'll ask them questions about things that exist in the world, and they'll come up with stuff. Kind of on the spot. So it's a lot of improv. It's a lot of fun. This one is actually going to be heavy limbo. We're going to try to dip into heavy limbo this time. So a lot of things are going to be crazy. Everything basically is going to be decided by your lovely players. And it's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a fun ride. So let's start off with some introductions. I want you to introduce yourself again, your character, just name, class, and please put the name in the chat so that I don't forget them. And then also, I'm going to ask you a question, and I would like you to answer that question based on whatever you would like to answer. So first, we are going to start with my good friend Scott. And Scott, what is the first color that you see when you wake up? And this is for his character, not for Scott, but for his character. But we're going to start with him. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Scott. There?
Yep.
Everything's working this time. I've played D&D for about a decade now. And the first color Warren sees when he wakes up is red. His eyelids are red. He's a red slod. He's a frog person, so he wakes up, he looks up, and his eyes are still closed, but before he even wakes up, he sees red. So,
does in fact see red as soon as he wakes up. We are going to then go on over to and please put that in the chat for me as well, so I have Warren's name, and everybody else has Warren's name. Next up, we're going to go to Mara, and Mara, what is that taste? Oh wait, that won't work. Anyway, what is that taste as you are waking up? What is that taste? Awesome. And also, so everybody knows, Mara is maybe typing in quite a few things as well. So just keep an eye out on the chat, and I'll be watching as well just to make sure that she's fully able to engage and do everything that she needs to do. But she feels the taste of stale air. That's the taste that she's experiencing right now. Yep. And her character is Ramsey, capital Ramsey, a logic paladin, and you all know her as a warforged. She's a metallic construct. Anything else? All right, cool. Well, let's hop on then to Jen. Your question will be, what part of your body has gone numb and why?
Hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm Scott's wife. This is my third time playing D&D, and my character's name is Mittens. She is a tabaxi monk, barbarian. And what has gone numb is probably her tail because she's probably laying on it again.
Oh, that's too bad. So, yep, she is woken up as well. And lastly, we're going to go over to our my other good friend, Damien. And Damien, I would like you to answer the question: um, what is the first sound that you hear as you wake up?
Hello, my name's Damien. My character is Wendell, the Warforged Centaur gunslinger. And the first thing I hear would probably be gunfire.
Excellent. Um, yeah, this game is going to actually run a little bit differently. Usually, when we start off, I will give those introductions as just kind of a slight way for you to understand what's going on with Limbo. But we're going to keep this. That is exactly what is happening to you all as you wake up. The air is stale. Warren, you kind of see red as your eyes become into focus. There's this. Uh, there's a numbness in your tail mittens as you wake up because you have been sleeping on it. But also, you do hear the sounds of gunfire outside. As you all awaken, you are in what seems like a room made entirely of wood. Looks like maybe a cabin, and it's quite dark. I need everyone to please give me a perception check as we jump into this. I will say, for some reason, Scott and Jen, your videos are frozen. I'm not entirely sure why, but everybody else is audio, so it doesn't bother me too much. But I just thought I'd let you know.
5.
That's a 15 for me.
15, okay.
10.
10. And what do we have for Ramsey? 15. Great. So, Warren and Mittens, you all are just waking up and you're a little bit disoriented as you're waking up inside of this strange place. Warren, the last thing you remember was a dinner, or maybe it was a murder mystery. It was something. There was a cat. And it's starting to come back to you, and you remember the generator at the restaurant at the end of the world turning back on. That's probably the last thing you remember at this point. Ramsey, same for you. You remember that generator turning back on, but also you feel that you are swaying back and forth. You feel as though the ground you're standing on isn't steady. And you hear, I'm sorry. Wait a minute, you wrote Damien Wendell in here. Is Damien Wendell the name of your character, Damien?
Oh, no, I just put Damien and then Wendell.
Wendell is the name. Okay, yes, Wendell
yeah.
is it. Got you. Wendell, you hear gunshots and you are quite familiar with the sound. You also notice that it's probably coming from above you, judging by where it's just gone off. Seems like you can also make out some yelling. It seems like some people are yelling as well. Yeah, that's what you all wake up to. What would you like to do? The room seems to have maybe a ladder at the far end of the room. It's hard to see, it's very dark. I think everyone here has some form of night vision, though, so you all should be able to see. There's a ladder at the end of the hallway that seems to be the only way up, and there are some barrels around you, as well as some crates and some other containers of some sort. So, what would you all like to do?
I want to prepare my spells.
I will say, for the sake of this, everybody has had a long rest since the last thing that has happened, and your spells have been prepared. They will be the same spells that you had before, though. I don't think you would have had time to prepare to like sit down and prepare your spells for the day, but you do have access to the spells that you had prepared the day before.
I want to look in some of the crates and barrels.
All right. Seems to be some sort of cargo. Doesn't seem to be well strapped down or sealed. But this is heavy limbo. And a lot of you all to build this world as we're going through it. So as you open up the barrel, it seems to be some sort of cargo. Jin, what is in the barrel?
How about some sort of ore or like rocks and metals and
It is some sort of mixture of metals. It looks like unrefined ore of some sort, but you're not entirely sure what. It seems to be some sort of metal. It doesn't look like iron, doesn't look like aluminum, doesn't look like any sort of metal you immediately recognize, but it is of some sort, which may explain why it's not super sealed down in here. Maybe they're not as concerned about it getting wet. But yeah, that's what's in those barrels. And it seems most of these are either mining equipment, or you also see some nets. But a lot of these barrels are full of this haven't been able to identify. Somebody could roll a check to see if they could identify it, but now Ramsey down to grab onto his heavy crossbow and looks over towards Mittens as she's going through someone else's cargo. He just keeps an eye on you.
Right now, I'm just looking around, staying alert.
Okay, you do hear some more gunfire. It does seem like a fight is going on up on the up above you. And from your perception checks, you're floating on something. This is a boat of some kind. You can feel it swaying back and forth.
Ladies first, up the ladder.
sure, Mitten goes up the ladder.
Excellent. Mitten climbs up the ladder, and you seem to be standing on a ship of some kind. I would like for you now, because you're the one taking initiative, so you're going to get all the questions. What does it seem that this ship you're on is powered by? Is it sails? Is it magic? Is it engine? What does it seem to be powered by?
How about both magic and sales?
Sounds great. Let me get a color from Damien. Let me get a color from Wendell.
Blue.
Excellent. As she pulls herself out of the bottom of this. Um, Now you're realizing probably a cargo hold of some kind. As she pulls herself up, she looks around the scape of this ship. And the ship seems to be also made of wood, but you can see along the railings, on the edges of the ships, up the mast, there's these arcane runes that have been inscribed into the ship. Um, you can also tell that while the sails are there, there's no wind. You don't feel any wind as you step up, but you see the sails are taut, like they are being blown by something, and you can see the air rippling around the sails, but you don't sense, like, you look around and you don't see any. Um, you actually see a lot of trees. You don't see a lot, like, you're not on the open sea. There's trees and jungle around you, a very dense jungle, in fact, and you're it, you're probably on a river of some kind going into wherever this ship is going, probably through the river and through the jungle, using this river as a means to transport cargo. You're guessing that's what's going on. Um, Warren, as you also climb up the ramp, you see uh, you see some. Actually, I'm gonna let you do that. Warren, please give me a number.
42.
42. You see 42 creatures. Yep, we're just going to go with it. There's 42 creatures that seem to be lurking around, looking at the boat, and you can see a lot of them are on the shores, but you also notice that some of these creatures have landed on the boat, and there is a battle ensuing. Um, Ramsey, after checking and to make sure none of that ore was stolen, um, climbs up the ladder and looks out. And I want you, Ramsey, to also describe what who are the crew of this boat? What do they look like? There's not a lot of them. It seems to be only a few here. It doesn't seem to be a very massive ship, but I want you to describe to me what the crew looks like. What race are they? What do they look like? What are they wearing? And I want you to kind of come up with a description for what the crew of this ship is. As that's happening, Warren, as you up and Mittens, you kind of look over and you see this as well. But I want Warren to answer the question. The boat is not floating on water. It doesn't seem that this boat is on a river made of water. Warren, what is the liquid that this boat is floating on? Warren?
Hmm. What about like a hmm, like a lava lampy type stuff?
Sure, we'll go with that. It looks as though it's some sort of viscous liquid, but you can see inside of it these, and I say bubbles lightly, it looks as though they're moving the opposite direction of the ship, and they're these glowing masses of different colors that pass by. They're neon and they shine up and kind of reflect the blue light of this arcane crafted ship. and these bubbles are flowing and moving past. In this, the liquid is clear, but white. It you can see through it mostly, but it looks as though it's like corn syrup or some sort of thick liquid. Um, as you all translucent, that is the word. It is translucent. As you all crawl up out of the hold onto the ship, you see that there are these um, thin, lean looking um, brown scaled creatures. They don't look dragon. They look just reptilian. They look like lizard folk. They're very thin. They have these scales that are showing, but only in certain places. It doesn't seem like they're mostly bright scales. It looks like they're mostly brown, but there's a couple of brightly colored scales across their hides. They look thin. They're very agile. Um, it seems as though a lot of them are swords, but also you notice a couple of them have these long iron-like tubes from which they're pointing at these creatures and squeezing some sort of triggering mechanism, and it's an explosion of fire, and the creature seems to recoil at this. Have just now kind of gone through a narrow channel, and it seems that the river that you're going up perhaps is widening, and you're getting much farther away from the shores, and these creatures that are jumping onto the boat seem to not be able to make the jump anymore. You've kind of gone out into this open water now, and these lizard folk are fighting, and you notice that the creatures are feline. They're long with very large tendrils that come from their backs, and they're this deep dark purple color. And if you stare, and it took a while to understand almost what they were, but um, it's probably because of this slight mist that's coming off of them, this purplish mist that's coming off of them, that they're moving and shifting, and it's very difficult to see where they are at any given time. Wendell, I'm going to have, as you all climb up, the Mittens and Warren and Ramsey, you've all made it to the top of this of the ladder, and as you've made it up there, I'm going to need Wendell to please give me a dexterity check to go up this ladder. Looks like Ramsey has turned around and is reaching down as well to help. And Jen, you said you wanted to help him up as well?
Yep. I'll help try to tug him up.
Okay, everybody, if you're helping, please give me a strength check. And if you're climbing, Wendell, please give me a dex check.
Wendell did get a 13, so.
Okay.
I got 10.
10, okay.
11.
All right. And Ramsey, 14. It takes a little while. It's kind of odd because it's clumsy, and you can see he's trying to put his hooves on the bottom rungs and push himself up. And he looks really confused and is trying to find out why he's here or how he ended up here. Kind of. He has this wild, it's kind of creepy. It's kind of weird, but you're helping him up, and you all, I've seen now, you all are kind of used to crazy random things. So you're just, I guess we're helping a centaur metallic thing out of a cargo hold right now, and you all are helping him up, and you all make it all onto the deck. At this time, you see that a lot of the folk sailors have died. A lot of them have been killed by these creatures, but you also see a lot of these creatures have been killed as well. And one of them, who has these golden scales mixed in with his brown, looks over to you all as you come up out the cargo hold, and you hear him say, "Yeah, what are you?" And he holds his gun at you and says, like, "Where did you come? How did you get here?"
How did you get here? I'm not even sure where here is. How do you know you didn't just come into us? You know?
This is an expedition. We're
You need some
well,
help,
if you're
right?
and just then one of these creatures jumps up and he kind of dodges out of the way and says, "Yes, help!"
Magic missile.
Seems that these creatures also have noticed you all as well. So it looks like most of them have been taken out, but a lot of these sailors have been taken out as well. Let's go ahead and roll initiative and get this
20.
party rolling. 20, nice. Please put your initiative into the chat because that helps me remember it. Not the best. And let's do this.
That's a nice looking 8 there.
Good work. Good work. That is a solid start to this campaign. Ooh. Okay. Sweet. So we got 17 for Mittens, an 8 for Wendell, 16 for Ramsey, and I think we got. Oh, and yeah, and Warren has a nat 20. Go ahead and add your dexterity modifier. Do you have a dex modifier to your nat 20? 24. Nice. Okay, so it's going to be in this order. Crew. The Warren, Crew, Ramsey, and then we got a. No, it should be Mittens. Sorry. Warren, Crew, Mittens, Ramsey, Wendell. All right. It's going to be Warren, Crew, Mittens, Ramsey, Wendell, and the Beasts. So that's the order. First up, Warren. It is appropriate. You see him. He's saying like, "Yes, help!" And you see one of these creatures that have crawled up on, and one of them is right up on him. It looks like the boat is about 120 feet from prow to stern. From the front to the back, it's about 120 feet. You've come out kind of in the middle at 60 feet. There are 2 of them behind you fighting some crewmates, and 1 in front of you with this captain. It seems there's only about 3 members of the crew left and 3 beasts left. Seems like no more of them can jump onto the boat from here, but you yeah, it seems pretty rough right now. And they're evenly matched, but thanks to you all, the tides have just kind of shifted into their favor. So, Warren, you're up first. You see that one in front of you. What would you like to do?
Magic missile. 1, 5, 10. Magic missile for 13 damage.
15 damage. And these missiles kind of careen around. And you see like the mist that's kind of around him. As soon as he gets hit, the mist disappears, and you very clearly can see this creature now. It is a very long, lean, hungry panther. And it looks at you now as it sees that you very clearly hit it without any trouble. And it looks at you and gives you a snarl. Next up, the crew. That was 15.
I snarl back.
Good. As he turns away from this guy, the lizard folk that's standing in front of him, this lizard man with these golden scales, kind of looks as this beast turns away and says, "Ha ha! I am your foe." Well, no, he doesn't say that. That's totally wrong. He's not. I don't know why I thought of it like that. Anyway, this the lizard person actually just turns and growls, and he doesn't talk like a British person from the 1800s. He just kind of growls and sees that his attention is away and swings at this thing twice with a scimitar. I have no idea why I just went, haha, I am your foe. I just felt that, like I really did. One misses and one hits. Oh, actually, both hit. Nope, both hit. For 8, 6. 8 plus 6 is... And then he also will... He's going to use his bonus action, actually, and disengage. And so this lizard folk slashes twice and then ducks like behind one of the claws and dodges back. And actually, he's right next to you all now. He's backed away from this thing and has gotten closer to you all to try to take a more defensible position now that some reinforcements from somewhere have showed up. So the ones behind are fighting these guys, and they're having a bit more trouble. That's one hit. 2 hits. Okay. I'm sorry. You all decided this stuff. This isn't my fault. There's some craziness going on. 1, 2. Okay. So behind you all, you also see there are 2 other beasts and 2 other crew members. And one of them seems to have his things well. He has like these almost sapphire scales that are on him, and he's handling himself pretty well. But the other one, as he's trying to lean in and try to attack this creature, the creature kind of shifts out of the way, and as he does, he swings and misses and falls over the side of the ship. I'm going to give him a dex save to see if he can catch the edge. And he catches it. So one dude is hanging on the side of the ship now, trying to hang on to the ship while he's fighting this creature. The other seems to be handling his a bit better. So that was that. Mittens, you're up. And then after that is Ramsey. So
I'm gonna run up to the one Warren hit and uh, attempt to hit it.
Give me some attacks.
First one is 28.
Um, as you swing at this creature, oh, actually, no, this is the one that Warren hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all he got. Go ahead. That's a hit. That is a hit.
12.
12
No.
damage. All right.
Yep.
Then give me another.
That's 25.
That hits. All right.
13 damage.
All right.
Mm.
Okay. So I think as a monk, you get 3 strikes, yeah?
If I choose to use a key point, I'm not doing that right now.
Okay. All right. So she runs up and you tear into this thing, and it like roars, but it's really high pitched, and it seems that it's in a lot of pain. As you just a ton of damage to it. Ramsey, you're up. While she's typing in what's going down, I'm going to try to get my things in order a bit. Ramsey, I think for you, what we're going to do is we're going to have you, while Mittens is going, go ahead and type your things into chat, so you all will kind of go at the same time. Yeah. The other one, you can see now that the crew member that's at the back is still kind of dangling and hanging on. But yeah, I think Ramsey, she says she pulls out her lance. So she has this long, kind of metallic, it's a metallic lance, and it seems to entirely be made of metal, not just the handle. And she pulls that out and he pulls it out and kind of situates himself and launches into the battle. While that's going on, Wendell, go ahead and get your turn ready to go. I may wait. We'll wait for this one. Well, he leaps forward towards the one that Mittens has just clawed into, and it's still kind of like shaking, and you see it like sputtering and trying to get that mist to come back out of it, but it can't do it yet. And forward, and we're going to get a roll here. Dum, 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 dum. 9 plus 7. That is a hit. 9 plus 7 is a hit. Go ahead and give me some damage. And I think you have 2 attacks. Go ahead and roll the second one really quick while you're doing the damage to see if that one hits as well. You all are doing way too well. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's whatever. Okay. And she ends up dealing 13 damage to that thing. And the 17 hits as well. Go ahead and give me damage for that. Plus 3, so another 10. So she leaps over, and you and the Mittens has just scratched this thing on the side, and Ramsey leaps over into the side of it and then flips the lance around, and it goes straight into the thing's head, and it falls limp onto the ground. That golden scaled lizard kind of looks. This is great. Help! And he turns around and starts heading towards the other two that are closer to the back of the ship. Pretty good. That was a lot of damage. Pretty good. That one's down. Next up, you see there's two other ones in the back. Wendell, you're up.
Wendell will turn around to the two at the back and says, "Acquiring targets," and he's going to shoot at them with his pepper boxes.
Go for it. As you try to focus in on these things, it's odd, and the one that is harrowing the guy who's hanging over the side, if you're trying to attack him, you'll have disadvantage on the attack. That mist is still around him. But the other one, who seems to be in combat with the one that's still standing, is a clean shot.
All right. For the first attack, that's 19 plus 5.
Which one are you going for?
The one that's not surrounded by mist.
Okay.
And damage
19
is...
plus 5, you just said?
Yep. But damage is 6,
Okay.
7, 8, 9. Damage would be 10.
10 damage?
Yep.
Okay.
And the other hit is a misfire.
So you see this centaur. Well, go ahead and describe the attacks. You go ahead and describe it.
All right.
How does that look as he turns around and launches into attacking these creatures?
You start hearing gears grinding, and on the side of his head, there's a box that pops out with 2 barrels that pops out of the box. One fires, smoke and fire comes out of it. The other one, there's a as nothing happens.
But that one that does fire sails true, and you see the creature like and wince and move over to the side, and that's I'm not sure how many of you have seen gunshots yet, and I'll leave that up to your characters and how you'd like to react to that. But he at the shot and kind of tries to reposition himself between this gunfire and the person he's fighting. So, good work. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
You want me to make that that Tinker's Tool check to fix that weapon?
I believe that's an action to make that check.
It is.
Yeah, so you can do it, but that'll be on your next turn because you already used your
All right.
action to attack. So,
All right, after that, that'll be all I do.
okay, and it's kind of disappointing. It's not the best feeling to have your guns jam as soon as you wake up in some random place. But we're actually going to roll around. It is the beast's turns now. The one that is fighting that the lizard folk that's over to the side, he kind of, after he took that shot, it hisses. It's a deep hiss. And that mist pours back out of it, and it becomes a lot more difficult to see. It launches out with its claws and tries to attack the lizard folk that's right in front of it. And that's going to be 2 hits. And that's 6. $15 damage to the one that's right in front of it. Okay. The other one sees this guy kind of dangling over the side of the water and over to where he is, and these tentacles that are on his back, these two long black tentacles, reach over and try to latch on to this head, actually. Um, so he's going to do that. Okay. And these tentacles latch onto him and they deal 16 damage to him. So he's not looking too hot either. But these two seem to be the only two that are still on the boat. You see a lot more of them that are kind of skulking around on the shorelines. Now it's too far to jump. But these are the only two that are still here and causing some damage. So we're back at the top of the initiative. So Warren, you're up.
I am going True Strike on Mittens. It gives you advantage. An extra attack roll.
That's not how True Strike works. It's the next attack that you make. You're targeting a creature, unless you're about to attack Mittens. Like you target.
So the next creature. Okay, I read it wrong. Okay, so I'll cast. So I cast True Strike and I can attack it. I can't. It ends up.
Yeah, it's more of like True Strike is kind of like if you're hunting and you've snuck up on something and it doesn't see you, you cast True Strike and then you attack, and you'll have advantage on the attack.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna cast Magic Missile again.
On which one? The one that's attacking. Both of them have their mist up again. Sorry.
They both do? I'm going to attack the one that is hitting the guy on the side of the ship.
Go for it. Give me some damages.
5, and another 15.
15? So, again, what are the colors of your bolts again?
These were all red. They change depending on what die I'm using.
Perfect. So these red missiles shoot around and crash into this one, and he kind of shakes, and the tentacles that are on him kind of loosen a little bit, and that mist stops. It stops surrounding this. Clearly a panther. It looks like a panther. Yeah, Mittens, you're up. Actually, no, the crew. Sorry. Yeah, the crew. Sorry. The crew. That one guy is, now that the tentacles are free, he's going to try to make a strength check to pull himself back up onto the boat. He does not. So he's still hanging on for dear life. The other one is going to attempt to attack the guy in front of him. Two hits. Two hits for 16 damage. All right. So yeah, that's their turn. Mittens, you're up. Oh, the guy. There's another one. The gold one. He is going to. He's gonna dash for the guy. Nope, I don't think he will. Hmm. I don't think he will. He's going to go after the guy that standing and fighting and not try to. He's not going to try to save the guy who's over the side of the ship. He's going to go and try to kill the other one. And he gets a natural 20. Jeesh. 15 plus. He does 19, and then he does 10. So he runs over there and does 9 damage. He hits him pretty hard, and he with his saber. I mean, not saber. What is that thing? What did I call it just a few seconds ago?
Scimitar.
Scimitar. Thank you. He with his scimitar comes around and gets some 2 really good hits and like cuts open the side of his shoulder. So there's a lot of this dark, almost greenish blood like coming out of this creature. Yeah, he's going at this thing pretty well. So now we're gonna do Mittens, and Ramsey, go ahead and do your rolls as well. But Mittens, you're gonna be up first.
Okay, I want to attack the one that looks healthier.
Okay, so you're gonna go after the one that's holding the harrowing the guy who's hanging on the side of the ship.
Yes, that one.
Okay.
25.
Hits. Does hit.
And then that's 13 damage.
Sheesh.
Second attack is 26. The hit.
It's. Sheesh.
10 damage.
Okay. He's a bit sturdier. He's not as weak as the other guy, it seems, but he's still there. He's still holding on pretty tight. And you get him okay. Not as bad as the first time you attacked, but you're now in this fray.
And then I growl.
And then she growls at it. And yes, there is one lizard folk right now kind of holding on for dear life, trying not to fall off the side of this ship right now. Let me do this. Okay. Yeah. The one you're fighting right now, Mittens, is still doing pretty well. Go ahead and give me a strength check, Ramsey. Ramsey sees this guy hanging off the side of the ship, and she's going to run over and try to pull him back onto the deck so he doesn't fall in this neon bubble that's shining blue beneath him. And she rolls an 18 plus 4, which is plenty, and hauls this guy up and throws him on the deck, and he's seems to have mostly brown scales. Has a couple of them that are flecked in like this green maybe, but mostly brown scales as he comes up onto the deck, and he's as Ramsey pulls him back up and he lands on the deck. Next up, we're going to Wendell.
Tommy is still there. Is it still the 2 or?
Yeah, it seems to still be the 2.
I'll aim towards the weaker one.
That the one with golden scales, the 2 lizard folk are fighting.
Yeah.
Go for it.
That's a natural 20.
Sweet. For 20s, we're doing double your dice, then add your modifier.
All right.
Add some heavy damage.
That'd be 14 damage.
14 damage. Sweet.
And as a bonus action, I'm going to use Action Surge and then make a tinkering check to
Okay,
fix that one gun.
sounds good. You still do have a bonus action. Using an action surge is a free action.
Oh, okay.
So if you have any bonus actions you want to take, you can still do it. But go ahead and give me that tinkering check.
Just make it at 10.
Sweet. So you kind of clear the barrel and you're good to go. But that hit did do a lot of damage. That thing is kind of leaning over a bit, and it kind of sits back up, and that mist starts to pour out of it again, and it's trying to eyes are a bit more frantic, and he's looking to the shoreline that's now way too far away to jump, and just kind of lashes out in anger, and he's going to attack each of the lizard folk once. And he swings for not the one with the golden scales, the other one with the sapphire kind of scales in his brown. And he hits and deals 6 damage to him. And then wraps the tentacle and with a speed that you didn't expect, whips around and grabs around the throat of the lizard folk that has the golden scales that was talking to you originally. And this tentacle wraps around and grabs his throat and begins to choke him. And he does 13 damage to him. And he is now grappled by this creature. He's not looking too good. That the golden scaled lizard folk. He's not looking too well. But we're back at the top of the order with Warren.
Which one looks most rough?
Actually, the one that is currently grappling the golden scaled lizard folk, mostly brown with a few golden scaled lizard folk, he's the one that is looking the most rough.
Does he have the shroud around him?
He does. He does, in fact. It seems both of them have gotten their whatever that shroud is back again.
Okay, I'm going to cast Magic Missile on the guy with Captain.
Okay.
$12.
Describe how these magic missiles kill this panther.
Two red and one blue bolts of arcane energy come through.
Get muted.
Okay, unmute. Okay. Two red and one blue bolt come out of my bolt of arcane energy come flying from my fingertips. Hit the beast from the in different spots on the tentacle that has the captain by and slumps down.
And you also kind of see that tentacles snap and release the captain as he kind of falls to his knees. You're kind of getting the feeling that he's a captain. He's kind of like commanding everyone. But the he kind of falls down as this grip releases from his throat, and he
Well, I also welcome to him.
okay, and you stand over next to him. Um, he looks up at you. Get the last one. And at this, he pulls out a very small. It looks just like a tube. It looks just like an iron tube. Um, it doesn't look fancy in any way. It just looks like a, a tube, and he holds it, and you would almost imagine he's holding a wand toward this other creature that's over here, but his eyes furrow a bit, and this explosion launches out the ends of the tube at this other creature, and as it as it launches out, um, the tube kind of breaks at the tip. It explodes, and the this captain almost like he drops it and just ah as he's holding his hand and seems to be trying to find a way to cool off whatever this tube is. As he's doing that, his friend who's standing next to him is like, "Don't worry, Captain," and he runs over towards the beast and tries to attack it physically with his sword. And hits. He hits twice and deals 17 damage. Okay. The guy who just got up from the side of the ship, he is not doing anything right now. He's just kind of breathing and panting underneath Ramsey, who just hauled him up. So next up, we got Mittens and Ramsey. Go ahead and give me your rolls.
Okay, I'm going to attack the creature again.
Okay.
Crowd is up or down?
Cloud is down right now, so you can attack with no penalty. That lizard folk hit him, so yeah.
27.
Sure. I don't. What are your? Never mind. I'm not even gonna ask.
You know what my ability is.
I do. I do.
3 plus 12 damage. That one.
Okay.
And then the second attack is that one probably doesn't hit 11.
11 is a miss.
Okay. Hit it once.
You did, and that greenish blood kind of shimmers across your diamond claws. And yeah, next up is Ramsey. And yes, she is going to attempt to to heal up that the lizard folk that looks really shocked and in a lot of pain. Are you going to use lay on hands, or are you going to use a spell slot for your heal, Ramsey? Cool. So she reaches down and she's going to use a spell slot. She's going to cast Cure Wounds at level 1. And as you reach down, you see his breathing kind of regulates, and you roll me a medicine check. Give me a medicine check, Ramsey. As you're healing this creature, his breathing is regulating. He's and sitting up and looking at you. His eyes are really wide. Okay, and a 16, you can tell with your healing magic that is quite technical and precise in its application. You can feel that he had some sort of internal injury as his body was flung over the side of the boat, but your hand seems to have steadied it and cured whatever that ailment was. It was probably something with one of his livers, to cure up. So good work. He's feeling a lot better, and he's kind of sitting up. Next up, we have.
Is there still one left?
There is one left. That's right next to Mittens is currently in combat with him.
All right. I'm gonna. Use one of my grit points to do a Deadeye shot, but also I'm gonna use a sharpshooter feat too.
Sweet, go for it. And the mist is down, so you get all your benefits.
All right. $17 to hit.
It's
All
go
right.
do it, do it.
That'd be 25 points of damage.
Describe how that last Deadeye shot takes out this creature.
All right, Wendell. Guess the eyes of Window changes from a bright green to a red, and there's a single as it slow-mo flies past the head of Mittens and strikes it right in between the forehead.
And this sound echoes through the jungle, and this creature just suddenly and abruptly stops moving and falls to the ground. Are out of combat. Good work, everyone. Made quick work of them. That's
I
great.
would like to heal the captain.
Well, go for it. Well, first we're gonna resolve a few things. As things have kind of died down, you all are floating across this neon lighted lake on this blue enruined boat with the sails that fly with no wind. Before we go any further into the story, I would like each of you to please give a physical description of your character, how they look right now. So, because I know we have Damien, who's new, I want everybody to please describe what their character looks like, and and just kind of how they look right after this battle has happened. And we're gonna start with we'll start with Jen this time. And Ramsey, go ahead and start. Give me the description, and then I'll read it out when you're ready. But we'll start with Jen.
Okay, so Mittens is a tabaxi, which is a cat humanoid. She has mostly black fur, but with white patches on her hands, feet, and face. And right now she has all that glowing green blood all over her hands. So the fur's probably getting stained green at the moment. But otherwise, she's looking pretty okay. A little angry. Ears flat to her head from the loud noises.
Yeah. So she's a little bit frustrated, but everything's dead. That's dangerous. So it's not it's good. It's okay. Next up, we're going to go over to. Let's actually go to Wendell.
Wendell is like a robotic centaur. Its main primary color is black, and most of his weapons are highlighted in a deep dark purple. His eyes normally bright green, but when he does any type of long range shot or focus shot, it turns to a bright red with like crosshairs. On the side of his head, there's two square mechanical objects with barrels coming out of it. And his right hand doesn't really have a right hand or arm. It's basically a big metallic pipe that has different like pipes connected to it.
Definitely. And we're gonna go over to Warren.
I'm a tall frog person, a slod, uh, red, red skin, and my attire is kind of haphazard. Um, some parts are loose fitting, some parts are tight fitting, and I'm bending over to try to put my hand on the captain, cast a spell.
Right, and Ramsey is bipedal, about 7 feet 1 inch robot, vaguely humanoid shapes. His eyes are of this copper tone, but you see that there's this artificial muscle that's connecting his joints, and his limbs glow green. The metal plates that are on him are a dark gray, and there's a faint text that's on the side of his head that says Ramsey, but it's like some of the letters are capitalized. There's symbols in between them. It's this some sort of technological language, but the letters are Ramsey. Um, so yeah, you lean over Warren, and you put your hand. You're attempting to help the captain, correct?
Yes, with cure wounds.
All right. Give me a roll.
5.
Okay. So you put your hand over on this captain who seems to have taken quite a bit of damage. And you kind of like put your hand on his shoulder, and this energy flows from you, and you can see the scar marks where some of his scales have been broken around his neck, where that tentacle had grabbed him. Kind of like the scales kind of reshape around his neck, and it kind of his air of prowess. Didn't do a lot of healing, to be honest. Didn't do too much, but it seems as though you've at least healed things on the outside, and he looks presentable again. He kind of stands up.
I also want to cast Prestidigitation on him and me.
You muted halfway through again. You said prestidigitation for what purpose?
To clean myself off and his battle grime off.
Excellent. And this, you're cleaning up what looks like, now you got a chance to look at him really. He's brown scaled. He has a few golden ones, and they seem to be on his brow and a couple on his shoulders and chest. He's wearing a vest made of a dark material of some kind, pants the same way, and there is a dark grayish color, and yeah. So how does it look when you're? Because he has a lot of this green blood on him. What does that look like when your prestidigitation cleans him up?
What do you mean?
Like, how does it? What is? Does it like? Does the blood just disappear? Does it fade away? Does it? Is it pulled off of him by some sort of magic? What's going on?
I'd say it just like knocks it off of him to the like deck of the ship or the arcane blow dryer.
Nice. So it's less of like a mystical it disappears, and more of a very sure as it just flies off of him onto the ground, and he's just standing there pristine and looking a lot um, more presentable as a lizard folk captain may. He sits up and he looks at the one that's next to him and just kind of grumbles, "Head count now." And that one sits up and says, "Come," and begins to go about the ship. As he walks by, he's going to go over to the other one, the one that has the green flecks inside of his brown scales, and grab him by the arm and kind of pull him up to his feet. I know Ramsey's next to him, but they look like they're about to go off and do something. Ramsey, you can act there if you'd like. In the meantime, the captain turns around and looks at you. "You have my thanks, creature. What? What are you all?" And he's scanning right now. He's scanning and looking at everyone. Just kind of things have settled down a bit, and they're out in heavier waters. Just kind of looking at you all expectantly.
It seems like the gods have sent us to help you, and here we are.
Warren, I want you to describe if I want you to decide right now if these lizard folk are really religious or not religious at all.
Very, I mean, superstitious maybe. Like, you know how sailors tend to get. There's certain little quirks about it. They might do the
Okay, so
most.
he kind of looks up at the sky, and it's high noon. The sun is right above everyone right now. And he kind of looks up at the sun, and as he looks up, he scratches one of the scales off of his cheek and just flicks it off, and looks at the sun and flicks it off and says, and points up to the sun with his hand, and looks down at you again and says, "Well, thank you. The gods have sent us a great gift this day." Meanwhile, as the sapphire scaled one is kind of pulling this smaller looking lizard folk with the green scales up to his feet, Ramsey kind of leans over and is like, how does your body feel?" And it comes out very medical and sterile in tone. He sits up. Better, thank you. We should go. And the one with the sapphires, we'll call him Sapphire. We got Sapphire, Gold, and Green. Grabs Green and says, "Yes, we should," and pulls him along, and they start heading actually towards where you all came up out of the center of the ship. Um, Meanwhile, Gold is standing at the front, like just kind of breathing a bit, and then he begins to make his way over to the carcass of that one of the panthers, and he pulls it up and looks at you all and says, "These things have been the bane of our trip, of our expedition. They've taken way too many men. I have no idea how we'd even make it back or make it to where we're trying to go. If you all hadn't shown up, I wouldn't know what we would do."
What can we do to help?
Well, first, I guess, what are your names? Where'd you come from? And he's really confused now. Now, like, the adrenaline's wearing off, and he's trying to just think, and nothing adds up. There's a robotic centaur. There's another robot who just healed one of his crew members. There's a cat who's looks like the Panthers but isn't like the Panthers, is standing straight upright with white hands. Maybe the white hands mean that she's okay and not going to kill us. And then there's this giant frog person who's talking to him right now. He's really confused.
The gods must have sent us, friend. What can we do to help? I don't know where we came from or where we're going, but
Okay.
Are you hurt? You need help?
A little. A little. I guess. Well, first,
My name's Warren, by the way. What's yours?
Warren.
I got to shake his hand.
He doesn't respond. He just sees you putting your hand out and kind of looks at it and kind of looks back at you. And you can see, like, he clearly has no idea what you're doing. And he just, you have names then. That is good.
Ramsey has sort of made his way over and is introducing himself. Let me know if I'm too quiet.
I
No,
moved
you're
my
fine.
extended
It's
hand
good.
and put it through my hair if I had hair.
He's like, okay, Warren, you all are named then. We have not that honor yet. It is good. It's good to hear.
How do you tell each other apart?
We do not. Until you have proven yourself, we are the same. We are the same. Well, come. Let's at least eat these creatures and get some good use out of them. And he throws the corpse of one of them over his shoulder and begins to walk towards a different hole, different than the one that the other two went down, and he starts going over towards that one closer to the front of the ship.
I want to
He's
help
like,
them.
come.
I want to help them clean the animals and get them prepared.
Okay. Well, he kind of walks and he throws the one body into. Well, first he passes the hole the other two went down, the first hole that you all came out of, and he throws one body into there. And he says, and he just kind of is throwing them into there, and you can see that his crew are catching it down there and bringing it to somewhere, probably to butcher it. And then he just kind of says, well, you all come to my chambers. There's a lot to discuss. And he just kind of is throwing the bodies down there for them to fix, and then he's walking towards the other way down. I don't know how else to say that. The other, what's the interior of a ship called? The belly? Nope, that is not a nautical term. He goes into the other belly of the ship.
The other hold?
Hold, that's it. So he seems to be going there. And you all have a few seconds on the deck to talk amongst yourselves before you go and see presumably the captain.
I run up to Warren and ask him to clean my hands. Clean this stuff off of me.
I cast prestidigitation on Mittens and ask,
All right.
He moves himself around, then I rotate him.
Was the two robots. I can't think of either of your names. Ramsey.
Ramsey.
And I asked Ramsey if you want me to clean you off, or are you good?
That would be appreciated.
I guess precedent takes on him, and go to Wendell. And I haven't seen you around.
Yes, this unit is new to this circumstance. Not too sure where I am.
Yeah, I was about to say, Wendell, the last thing you remember is you were in this construct of yourself patrolling your ship, and now that construct is here. I have no idea. Like, you're really disoriented right now.
But if you need a name, this unit is named Wendell.
I extend my hand out, like to take his gun. Yeah.
Not too sure what you're doing.
I go back and do the whole thing with my where I would have hair if I had hair.
Slayer, let's see what you can do.
Ramsey turns his head towards Wendell and says his designation, his name, in the same manner Wendell did, and sort of nods at him.
He said the no meetings on the fast Sunday, right? Was told to them directly by the stake that they shouldn't do them. Yeah, because we've done them before.
Yeah, I'm letting you all rock right now. You all do whatever you'd like to do.
I go over and bump my shoulder up against Warren since nobody seems to want to touch him.
I was forgetting we were not triple teams this time.
And you two do recognize each other. You haven't seen each other probably since Diamond's Mine, that weird Diamond world. But you do recognize each other.
That was a nice place.
Yeah, remember all the diamonds we got?
Do either of you pull any of those diamonds out?
No.
I added one to my bracelet, so I show him.
But my mice are. I do have two mice that are scurrying around me.
What are their names again? Beretta and Toledo. Beretta and Toledo, they have popped out now, and you all see there are these two robotic mice, question mark, that seem to have, after the commotions died, kind of crawl out around Warren and are jumping up and down around him, and are kind of just a bit excited to be out in the open air. You also see on Mitten's wrist a bracelet, but that bracelet now has a diamond on it, and that diamond is larger than either of you have probably seen. Like, that diamond is insanely huge.
I put one of the littler ones on it, not a huge one, like the size of the beads. Like, yeah,
well,
the whole world was made of it.
Yeah, you all, like, it's still a pretty sizable diamond, and it's
He likes her pretty things.
it's nice.
Yeah, right there. He doesn't like it right there. Thanks. have died while you would have did that. Thought I could help.
Ramsey sort of leans over to inspect these robotic mice. Sort of
Sure.
a curious way.
Don't touch.
Warren? Warren, do you let her inspect the mice?
Yeah, I said be careful of this, the Beretta. She bites. Hold one out in my Toledo out in my hand and hold it up to her. Or Ramsey.
Ramsey sort of touches the top of its head very gently with one robotic finger.
And Toledo seems to respond, and a bit positively, like kind of pushes himself into it. Could you please give me either an investigation or an arcana check while you're investigating this small metallic robotic mouse?
Yes. Total of 16 arcana.
You notice that these are, you're not entirely sure, but they seem to be holding an incantation of some sort. They seem to be able to they're connected. They're very innately connected on almost like a quantum level with each other. This is very, very high level magic that's inside of these small mice. And they seem to be linked almost impossibly so. I would say you're mostly technological, your construct. This seems to be a very purposeful wedding of technology and magic.
Ramsey makes a sort of a thoughtful, whirring noise while retracting his finger.
I move to go follow the captain guy. Gold scales.
I
Ramsey
follow behind.
follows that as well.
Okay. There is another ladder. So that's a thing. Do you want to go all the way down or stay on top, Wendell?
Wendell circles around the hole where the ladder is, and he's like, "This unit decides to stay up top. Like, watch out for creatures, enemy hostiles."
Okay.
Affirmative.
There's kind of this robotic camaraderie happening that I really like. So the rest of you follow the captain down into the hold. Is that correct?
Yes.
Cool. As you go down into the hold, you see that he has kind of taken his vest off, and you can see there's quite a few scars on his chest, and he seems to be pulling down some strips of meat and out like a a bottle of something. It seems to be a gourd of some sort of liquid. He kind of slides it over to you all and spreads the meat out on what looks like a large banana leaf, and puts the meat down and slides it over to you. And he kind of gives a bow. My thanks again. You've saved us this day.
I want to smell it discreetly to see if it's okay for me to eat.
Give me a survival check.
Ramsey sort of inspects it, but then politely declines, pointing at his the fact that his mouth is mostly only a sort of.
I'll take your serving, Ramsey. It's okay.
22?
You can determine that this is definitely panther meat. It's definitely the whatever those creatures were up there. You can still see a little bit of the tinge of green in the flesh. You don't know if panther is good to eat or not, but it doesn't smell like rancid. It seems like it was smoked and smoked really well. Um, that's you. You are confident this is dried panther.
But as I'm a tabaxi, would I eat something that looks like me?
That is entirely up to you.
I mean, cats are ruthless.
One thing about the Star Wars game that takes some getting used to.
Okay, she starts to eat it. She's hungry.
You all, unfortunately, well, no, you weren't there, but Warren and them did not get to eat any of that delicious smelling beef wheel.
I eat as many portions as I can, Ramsey's and mine, and I'll take one up to uh,
Wendell?
Window. Yeah,
Yep. So you all eat, and he kind of lets you, and he will pour to smaller, like, seem to be foods that have been cut to make cups, and he pours um, like clean, clear water, and he just pours water into these other cups and passes them over to you all to drink, and you all kind of just have this repast for a little while. Um, Wendell, you see Warren kind of climb back up the ladder and poke out, and it looks like he's holding some sort of meat.
you don't want this, do you? It's half eaten already, anyway.
Wendell, he's holding this up to you as he's climbed up the ladder.
Oh, sorry, I did not see you there. This unit does not eat or drink, but thank you.
I finished up the last little bits. No problem.
Excellent.
And Window
you
goes
are
back to looking around the area.
Wendell, go ahead and give me a perception check while you're up there. Um, Warren, you go back down into the hold, and the captain looks pleased that you all are eating, and looks specifically pleased at you, Warren, as you're eating and look like you're having a great time and just eating all everything. He's happy his offering is taken well. Um, Wendell, as you look up, you can see pacing along the edges of the water, you see dozens more of those panthers. You see them just watching the ship as it floats out into this larger river, and you can also see that there is some sort of stone structure that seems to be up ahead. It's kind of large, not too big, but looks as though it's maybe the size of a 10-story building. It looks like something. It looks like it was. It's pretty big, but it's not. It's not like a skyscraper, but it's still a pretty large building. Um, but it just seems to be a stone edifice of some sort that the ship is slowly moving up, and you're pretty confident now that you're going upstream towards this.
All right.
Go ahead.
How close is the building? Like, how many hours, minutes?
Roll me an investigation check with advantage because I feel like a robot would be able to find this out.
That's a 10.
10, not too sure. You're thinking between 12 and 36 hours.
All right. And the creatures, the panthers, are they getting closer to the ship or further away?
They seem to be staying the exact same distance. They seem to be looking at you, but not staying close by. Like they're just all staying close by at the bank, watching the ship as it's going.
All right. If there's no real danger, I'm going to go into a small trance.
Okay. So yeah, at this time, go ahead, everybody. Let's take a short rest. That's the. We'll have everybody have a short rest here while you all are eating and kind of talking and figuring out what's going on. And in real life, we'll take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Come back at about 10:10, and we'll get the second half of this show on the road. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. Let's take a break. Whew, I'm a little late. I'm like 5 minutes late. How's everybody? Is everybody back?
Welcome back.
I'm
Yeah.
back.
Sweet. Gins and Scots.
I'm back.
Um, this rest goes on for quite some time. Oh well, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just gonna. I was just jumping right back into it. If that's okay, are we good to jump back in?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool, cool. All right. So the rest actually goes on for some time. Um, I want to say you all kind of relax for a couple hours, and during this time, Gold, as you all have come to call them, because they've decided not to, because they don't have names. Apparently, they earned names and they haven't yet. And it's odd that this one, who is the captain, also does not have a name yet. So he goes about and explains kind of the excursion that they're on. Um, I need. Well, let's roll a d4 because we're gonna find out about this excursion that we're on.
I want to ask the captain, how are these panthers prepared?
Prepared?
Yeah, like what do you do to make the meat so?
He says they smoke them. They smoke them with wood from the nearby trees.
The whole body, or
They take the hide off because the hide is very valuable, and he does explain that their clothes are made of the hide of these panthers, but also that they take the hide off and then they separate the meat and then they hang it in strips and smoke the meat in strips. Wendell, I need you to give me a name of a mythical metal. A name of a mythical metal.
Star metal.
Star metal. This guy, he explains that in their culture they worship the day and the night. The day, the stars rule the night, not the moon. While the moon is there to the moon is seen as like a pale, kind of jealous brother of the sun. Like somebody who's not really powerful but tries to act like it is, and um, these panthers are all children of the moon, children of this evil overlord that seems to lord over them at the night. Because these are lizard folk. They're cold-blooded creatures, and the sun, when the sun shines on them, it warms their blood. It gets them moving and able to go do things and go about their day. The moon gives that light, but it doesn't give the warmth. And it's like this false. They're able to see everything when it's a full moon, but they aren't able to do anything. And so they have this really duplicitous relationship with the sun and the moon. So they prefer to think of the stars at night as more powerful because the stars are they are suns, and they recognize that they are, just because they're not shining their light on them doesn't mean that others aren't enjoying it. So they're a little bit more advanced than you all may have originally thought. They seem to have an understanding of technology. They seem to have an understanding of magic. It seems these ships were made by them, and it seems that the ship has a constant gust of wind spell that's going. that is blowing the ship's sails, and it's filling the sails, and it's helping the ship travel upriver. Um, these creatures are superstitious. They believe that these panthers that live in the forest, they were sired by the moon, but they also believe that at a point near the mouth of the river, where this river um, opens up to the sea, that's where they live. They live at the bottom, and every year or so, they will send a group of younglings up the river. And the goal is to make it up the river. You will kill a few panthers, and you'll make it to this stone that's near the base of a mountain that from which the river flows. This stone is supposed to be just a ceremonial stone. They go there, they touch the stone, they in it, and it's at that point, and this journey is supposed to make them names. They get their names through the journey, through the laughter that they share with everyone else on the ship, and through the trials that they go through. They earn their name, and they carve it on the stone, and then they come back down the river to join the rest of the clan. Um, this one, Gold, seems very concerned about this trip. This is not how it's supposed to go. There is never more than maybe three panthers that are usually seen on the entire journey. And right now, there is an obscenely high number of them. And they've killed a lot of his crew members. And the people don't, the people at the village, they don't know. The elders, the warriors, they don't know that this is going on at all. But he seems as though he's not going to return without having carved his name in that stone. Um, at the base, at the base of that stone, they also harvest this ore that comes from the mountain, and the ore is this star metal that is crafted into these rods. And he shows you the weapon that he was using earlier, and each one will both generate and accelerate a piece of itself, and it uses itself as its own weapon. And so you don't fill it; it kind of the metal just it shoots parts of itself out of the front of it, and it takes a good eye and years of study to be able to craft these tubes out of this star metal. But it's not like a gun, and that's something that you all would notice, especially Wendell. You would notice that this isn't a gun, it's some sort of magical explosion that this metal is generating. Reason you all have something's been up. This trip is a lot more dangerous than it should be, and they've been finding a lot of the metal in their fishing nets as they're dredging up the river as they're going along. They're finding a lot of it. They have some stored down beneath in the other hold, but they're not sure why it's here and not at the base of the mountain where it usually is. Um, it's a little it's very disconcerting. Um, Lizard folk are very practical, straightforward people. They're not too emotional or sentimental. Um, but you can tell that he is trying to hide how disturbed he is at the loss of his crew, and that he's going to have to explain it when he gets back. But he does say to you all that he's planning on making it to this stone and returning. So yeah, that's the setup you all are in right now. Is there anything that you want to ask the captain? Anything you want to do before we go on to what happens next?
I could really use some new attire. Is there any way I could get some of these panther skins?
He probably could hook you up in one of those. You did show up and kind of save his life. Yeah, he can give you some, and they're these purplish. What do you want? What do you want this to look like? Are you looking for a vest? Are you looking for a robe? What are you looking for?
Go after us.
Uh, like a
I'm not sure.
yeah, like a my clothes are sort of loose and not really fitting well. Just some clothing to fit over me, or a robe would work if you don't have any artisans on the vessel.
You've discovered that Green is pretty skilled with a knife. He seems to be their resident artisan, and he can fashion out of the skin of one of these creatures a a robe for you. And yeah, he's definitely able to do that. And it's kind of like it's not really well made. I'll be honest, but it does cover you a bit better than the clothes that you're wearing now.
All right, so I have purple robes now.
You do in fact. Anyone else? Do you have any questions? Anything you want to look into while you're on the boat? You all have affectionately called these three crew members Gold, Sapphire, and Green, um, because those are the different flecks of color in their scales. And so, yeah, is there anything you want to look into? Ask any of them? You want to pull any of them over to the side and talk to them?
How much longer to get to the mountain? The stone that you're going to carve your name in?
It should be. We should make it there by tomorrow. Well, we'll have to shut down a bit tonight. Um, I'm not entirely sure how you all operate, but it's very dangerous for us to move at night. It gets quite cold, and so we usually hole up and wait until the morning. Anyone else?
I do not rely on sun generated heat. Perhaps I could attempt to continue to move the ship while you are asleep.
He's a muscle cat.
Roll a persuasion check. I'm not sure if he's too quick to let you drive his ship.
Yeah.
Yes, it's your hair.
17 plus 4.
Nice. He, all, uh, all right. Things are a bit odd, and the faster we can get this over with, the better. I'll take you to the helm. And instead of going back up to the deck, he kind of opens up a side passage and walks in. And anyone who's here can also follow as well. But he walks in, and Ramsey, I want you to describe what the controls of this ship look like.
Joe, what do you think?
Hmm. Ramsey? Are you thinking?
Yep. I typed it in chat, so I didn't stutter.
Okay. Um, yeah, it seems the entire helm is covered with different, various precious stones. What kind of stones are they? Like rubies and sapphires kind of stones, or are they like iron and steel kind of stones?
Like gemstones, but low value ones, like trying to think.
Like maybe opal or coral or
Yeah.
like okay. And he leads you in, and it's kind of like a wooden panel, and you can see that all the runes that were on the mast and on the body of the ship, they're also in this room, and they seem to be a lot smaller and a lot more concentrated, and there's a lot more of them all leading to this one panel. And there's some topaz and garnet stones that are on top of it, and he leads you over to it. And go ahead and give me an investigation check or an arcana check. Either one will work.
10 plus 3.
Okay. You get the basic gist of it. You're not entirely sure if you could control it or steer it. It seems that it would be a bit tough to do that, but you're pretty sure that you could keep it going straight. You're pretty sure you got that down. It seems to be used not mechanically, but almost like not a telepathy, but kind of a an empathy, almost like a relationship with this boat. And it catches you off guard a bit, but you're able to, even though you're mechanical, you understand what emotions are. But that seems to be a bit of the difficulty with you fully being able to pilot the ship. It seems like it's run by a lot more than just logic. It seems like it's a relationship. It's like constantly convincing the ship to move forward. Makes sense. Um, so there's this you he lets you take the helm, and you pilot it for a little bit. You get the feel of it, and you're able to maintain momentum. With that, he says that you all will probably be able to keep going through the night, and we would most likely make it to the stones at dawn, instead of later on in the day. You probably still would have to go through the night, and the evening is coming up pretty soon. Um, but yeah, that seems to be what he's doing. Um, so while Ramsey is figuring out the controls to the ship, and Warren is getting some clothes from Green, what are Wendell and Mittens up to? You see Sapphire, he's kind of like cleaning and muttering to himself, and he seems a bit worried about something. Like he's looking over the side and looking towards these panthers that are walking next to the boat, and he's a bit worried. But you all are, I guess, I'm going to say on the deck of the ship, mostly because of Wendell not wanting to climb up and down ladders. um, but yeah, what are you all up to while they're doing this?
Wendell right now is in I guess, a sleep mode. He's still aware of his surroundings, but recharging his batteries for the next fight.
Sounds good. Mittens?
Um, I guess I'd go up to Sapphire and try to see what he's muttering about.
He's he's he sees you approach, and he kind of quiets down a bit. But he looks and he keeps looking at the sun, and it's about dusk now. The sun seems to be about to dip down into the water, and you can feel that the air is getting noticeably colder. It's dropped maybe 5 or 10 degrees, and he kind of like looks and grumbles at the sun and kind of is pacing back and forth a bit. What do you say to get his attention?
Um, I don't know, just kind of clear my throat a little bit and say, "Hey, is there something you need me to do? You can go to sleep or something."
I would rather not sleep. Do you do you sleep at night?
Sometimes, sometimes not.
And he has like we'll say a mop in his hand. Well, what is he use? Mittens, what is he currently using to clean the ship?
What is he cleaning? Is he cleaning the deck? Is he wiping down the sides? Like, what is he cleaning?
What you tell me?
Um, he's using a bucket and a bunch of rags to clean the blood off the deck of the ship. Not a mop, just like rags in a bucket.
Awesome. He squeezes this liquid onto it, and it's like it's a bit thicker than water. It's thicker than the water that was served to you inside the captain's quarters. And he's rubbing it on the ground, like trying to get this green stuff out of it. And he kind of looks up, like, "Do you these things?" And he points to the panthers that are pacing up inside. "They are of the moon. They do not sleep. You look like them. So I wondered if you sleep."
I sleep, just not always at night. Sometimes I sleep during the day. Love me a good nap.
That would be nice. We cannot sleep in the day, and we must sleep at night. There's no choice. The night is too cold. If we do not sleep, it, well, could hurt us. And that is why I'm worried.
What if I stayed up to watch the ship? I could stay up here all night while you go down there and sleep.
I would like that. Have you? And he kind of looks around, and he sees that Wendell is over there powered down and doesn't see Warren or anyone else, and kind of like scoots a little bit closer. Have you ever seen things?
What do you mean by things? I've seen a lot of things, but
Like images or places or people you know?
I mean like seeing them where they shouldn't be, or in your dreams, or
What are what are dreams?
like images that come to you when you're asleep.
So you have had them. And he kind of gets a little bit excited, and he puts the rags in the bucket and kind of stands up.
Yeah.
Images while you sleep. Yes. Okay. He, we have never dreamed until this voyage. I talked to the other people on in the crew, and all of them, when they sleep, they see things. They see people. They see each other. They see the ship. They see the Panthers. This has never happened before. And he turns back to his bucket and he grabs the rags. I don't want to sleep.
Does anything worrying happen during the dreams? Like, does somebody get hurt? Do the panthers always attack? Are there always lots of them? Did it happen before you saw the panthers?
It is not. Um. He looks and he says, "It is. It is nothing. I. I just wanted to. I just wanted to know if I was alone. But I want you to roll insight."
I got
Give me a. You got
eight,
what?
8 total.
Eight. Eight total.
8.
Yeah. He seems like this was like it kind of whatever it was freaked him out, and you understand like he's never dreamed before, and I guess dreams would be really weird to have. But yeah, it's really weird, and you've never met anyone that hasn't dreamt before. And then it makes you think maybe the robots haven't dreamt. I don't know how that works, but yeah.
Robots sleep. Really?
So, but he kind of goes back to cleaning the deck, and he walks over to the side, and he's about to throw the liquid off the side, and then you see this shining bubble of green neon light. It's kind of passing through the water, and it kind of pops up at the top and keeps going, and he is about to pour it over, but then he stops that green bubble to pass, and then he throws the water over the side with the blood. And he turns back around and looks at you and is like, "Well, I'm afraid we must sleep. The nights get cold here. I'm I'm going below deck. I'll I'll see you tomorrow."
Okay, I'll stay up here because that makes it easier for you to sleep. And I pull up my little winter blanket and wrap myself up in it and just stand on the deck for a little bit.
Cool. And so he goes down, and you notice that all of them are definitely going to sleep. Like all of them seem to be going to their separate quarters. It seems there's 3 different sleeping quarters. It's not like 3 different quarters made for sleeping, but the captain has his place. Um, Sapphire seems to rest near the control the control room. Just kind of hang out near there, and then Green goes to the hold where you all first arrived and first woke up, and they all seem to kind of curl up and go into a corner, and they wrap their them and kind of curl into like this little ball, this tiny little ball over in the corner, and they stop moving and they stop breathing, and they kind of go into this suspended animation. The rest of you, the temperature drop maybe another 20 or 30 degrees. It's really rapid, really fast, and it gets really cold. I need everybody to please give me a constitution saving throw.
19.
20.
Total of 17.
Got a 12.
Well, thankfully everybody passed, but you feel this cold seep into you, and it's not pleasant. It's a very surprising contrast to how hot it was just moments ago. Um, you can tell why these lizard folk probably are curling up for the night, because this is pretty tough stuff. Um, the night kind of goes on uneventfully for some time. Everyone can take a long rest for this period of time. So you get your spells back, I believe, for the casters. Um, you kind of go through the night, and it's calm. It's really quiet. If you stop for a moment, you can look over the side of the boat and you still see these neon blobs, some red, some purple, some orange, and then some green, flowing through this viscous liquid over the side of the boat. Also, if you look closely and you look at the reflection of the stars and these blobs, you can still see the eyes of those panthers pacing left and right, up and down the sides of this bank. Um, the boat sails on through the night, and I need who is on the deck? I know Mittens is. Is anyone else up on the deck?
I am.
Okay.
I curl up with the captain on my long rest.
Awesome. And then Ramsey is driving, so she's in those quarters. I mean, he's in those quarters. While this is going, I need Wendell and Mittens to please give me a perception check.
9.
9,
18.
18. Okay. Surprisingly, both of you see this because they rolled horribly. I can never roll for anything to sneak up on you all. It's really bad. Anyway, as you all are sitting at the deck and you're kind of, this robot guy seems pretty cool, Mittens. He's, shut down right now, but he seems pretty all right. And you're kind of you're dozing off, but you told Sapphire you would stay up and watch things. So you've rested some, but you're getting a little sleepy. And suddenly you see Wendell. You're mostly offline, but you still have a few of your optical sensors running around, and you have a few of your other sensors going. It picks up something. It picks up movement straight above you. Look up, you can see that the moon is about the same height in the sky as the sun was when you first arrived. It must be exactly midnight. You look up, and at high moon, I guess you would say, can see these shapes. They're incorporeal. They seem as though they're smoke almost, and you you recognize that mist as similar mist to what the Panthers had, but it's not coming from the banks. It's coming from this full moon that's right above you, and it starts to descend onto the ship. What do you do?
Um, I quickly stand up. Enemy detected, and then rapid fire.
Awesome. Mittens, you see this centaur creature jolt upright and start firing straight up into the sky, screaming enemy detected. At this time, uh, yeah, let's have everybody roll me initiative, and we'll get other people in when they come up. But I want to just make the initiative for everyone.
10.
That's a 4 for me.
Okay. Okay, and we have really that's nuts. Okay, so we have it'll be Warren, then Ramsey, and actually it'll be Middens, and then Mist, and then uh, I'll let you get your shots off, but you are going to be at the back of the initiative.
All right.
Cool. So we have Warren, Ramsey, Mittens, the Mist, and Wendell. You fire shots. Go ahead and give me 2 attack rolls.
All right. That's 1 misfire, and the other one is a 17.
Okay. You fire straight up into the sky, and it kind of just goes straight through this mist. And it continues to descend upon the boat. Warren, you hear gunfire and are aroused from your sleep.
I wake up, tap the captain, realize it's still night. He's probably still sleeping, and run up to the top of deck. Run up to the deck.
Okay. You run up and you do see this mist descending on the ship.
Can I discern anything about it other than looks like the same as the Panthers had around?
Give me an Arcana check.
14.
14. You can tell from the way that it's moving that this is different than those Panthers. This, like, something's up. This doesn't seem like something is hiding in the mist. It seems like this smoke is whatever this entity is. And that's a little unsettling. and it kind of floats down and is descending on the ship. I'll say that is your bonus action. I'll give you an action. hmm And while he's thinking about that, Ramsey, I want you to know that you're up next.
I cast can I cast light on like a rock or something and throw it up into the mist?
Light? Yes, you can. You cast light on, let's say, what's around on a ship that's loose that you could throw. Some tackle. We'll say that. I don't even know what that entirely means, but you grab some tackle and it lights up and you throw it towards this creature. And as the light shines, you can see it shine um, as this thing passes through the creature, but you also get a view of a crown. And the crown is made of this almost grayish material, um, but reveals this crown in the mist, as well as two green glowing eyes. All of you all who are up on deck see this. I'm going to say Ramsey does not yet, but everyone else, you do take note of this as this light casts up towards this creature. Ramsey, that's actually up to you.
Can I assume I heard Wendell's gunshots?
You did. You definitely did.
Okay. So Ramsey is going to sort of double check everything real quick and then make his way onto the deck.
And you make sure things are still moving forward, and you climb up to the deck, and you see as well this mist coming down, and you also see the that's shining through this light spell that Warren is throwing up towards the creature.
I am not going to attack as it does not appear to be hostile as of yet.
Would you like to hold an action?
Yep.
What would be the trigger?
If the creature harms anyone on the deck.
Okay, if the creature harms anyone on the deck, you're gonna lance attack, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So that brings it up to Mittens.
Is it close enough for me to attack it?
Probably not at this point. It's a good 60 feet above the deck.
The mast is sticking out of the deck, right? Could I climb up?
Yes. You could. Give me a climb check.
I have a 20-foot vertical movement.
Oh, yeah, you do?
I have claws.
Well, that's would be 40 straight up. But if you roll me a climb check, I may make you do it your full speed and make it up there.
Okay. That's what a strength check.
Yeah, strength athletics.
Okay. 15.
15. Yeah, you actually can make it up to the top of there, no problem.
Okay, now my William.
And you now that you're a bit closer, I would say you're in a precarious spot. I'll let you make an attack towards it. You can make your attacks, but there will be a disadvantage right now. But you can do it. because you're kind of hanging off the side of this mast. There's not a crow's nest up this one. You're just kind of hanging off the side of it, and the wind from whatever this spell is blowing past you right now.
Okay, but the first attack is 25 with disadvantage.
Hits.
12 damage. And the next one's 13.
Hits.
Hits. Okay. That's 13 damage.
Okay. As your claws reach up towards this creature. Wait, 13 you said? Yeah. As your claws reach up towards this smoke, your magical, these aren't just diamonds. These were magically infused seeds from a diamond basilisk. You sweep towards this thing, and your paws go straight through it.
I growl at it in frustration.
You do so. This smoke kind of passes by you. It seems not even to be paying attention to you. And it kind of descends one and goes straight or to the cargo hold. And Windall.
He's going to take action to try to repair.
Go for it. What you got? What you got? Window? Did we lose Window?
He's still muted, so.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. I think something happened. While he's trying to fix his guns, I don't think he's going to move to attack um, this round unless he burns an action surge. Warren, what are you up to? We'll come back to him.
Um, it doesn't seem to be malicious or anything. It's just floating down towards the cargo hold.
It floated past you all to the cargo hold.
I guess I follow. Is it like a?
Okay. Would you like to follow?
Yes.
Okay. You jump over, and you can see, as you go down into the cargo hold, you see green is there. This mist now has these eyes over, like, glowing. And that crown, that grayish crown, is on his head, and it reaches towards Green, and you can see Green is like shaking a bit, and he seems to he's like panting and as though he's having a really really bad dream right now. Well, it's still your turn. It's not its thing. It's not its turn, so it's still your turn. You can use your movement to get down there.
I guess it looks like it's hurting Green, sort of.
It looks like Green is having a nightmare. Yeah.
Could I infer that it's this being that's causing it, or
Give me an Arcana check.
another 14?
14. You can tell something's going on. You're not entirely sure what, but you get the feeling that this thing is somehow influencing them while they're sleeping, and somehow their sleeping is influencing symbiotic relationship between the sleeping lizard folk and this creature.
Well, there's no like physical damage going on.
But it did just get down there. We are in initiative order.
I hold my turn until I see anything violent going on.
Okay. What are you gonna do if something violent happens?
Magic missile.
Okay. Yeah. So next up after Warren is Ramsey.
I am going to move down to the deck below to see what's going on.
Okay, and you do see that same thing. The mist is coalescing around this sleeping lizard folk.
I stand very near, but I do not attack.
Are you holding as well?
Yes.
Okay. Next up is Mittens. You're at the top of a post right now.
I had to climb down the post now.
You do so.
Yeah. Pretty sure I can't move any further than that, though.
Yeah, I would say if you want to use your action to dash, you can make it there, but just making it back down, you're kind of like, okay, all right, whatever.
Yeah. Probably pick up
All right.
cuddle back underneath that.
Okay. Reaches towards this sleeping lizard folk. And very quickly, that's going to be really bad for him. You see the lizard folk start shuddering and moving very violently in his sleep as some sort of like shimmering greenish glow starts coming from the lizard folk. He seems to still be sleeping, but it doesn't seem like this is good for him. I'm going to say this can trigger any held actions if you all would like to. It does not look pleasant. It looks actually really painful.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Well, we'll trigger Warren's first, if Warren's, because Warren is before an initiative. Do you want to trigger it?
Yeah, I'll fire magic missile at the Smoke, fog.
All right.
Uh, 9.
9. Um, those three missiles shoot out and go straight through the creature and crash against the wall behind it. Ramsey. Dum, dum.
Is Warren's turn done?
Yes, he let fly some magic missiles, and the magic missiles did not connect.
I look very perplexed right now.
You do. You do, in fact.
That always works.
like for real. In like all of the D&Ds, it always works.
Ramsey
Something's not right.
sort of swipe his lance at it.
Okay, I'm not gonna. You swing towards the thing, and
No, he can in this case, Joseph. Anyway, 19 plus 7.
that's a hit. As you swing towards it, the lance passes right through the smoke, and Green is still shaking and jittering beneath it.
Can I yell at him to wake him up? Green?
Maybe, but on your turn. As of right now, he is going to attack the thing on the ground. Hold on. He's going to reach out towards Green Norm. Really? Oh, really? That's ridiculous. Okay, well, yeah. As Green shimmers and shakes a bit, it seems as though whatever it's doing hasn't all the way connected yet, but it's doing something with Green. Mm, after that is Wendell.
As I look down this hole that has the ladder, can I see anything?
Give me a perception check. DC 13.
I got a 12.
No. You can hear there's some sort of greenish light glowing down there that wasn't there before, but you can't make out anything from your vantage point. You're kind of trotting around the circle, the hole, trying to get a view.
This unit can't help. This unit apologizes, and he ends his, no, I can't do anything, so.
All right. Ramsey.
Can I attempt to grab and move Green away from it?
You can. Give me an athletics check, just a DC 10, just to be able to do it. You're a pretty strong robot.
Yeah, that's 13 plus 4.
Yeah, no problem. You lift him up. What you gonna do with him?
Back up away from the smoke entity.
Okay. It is going to see you pulling away from it, and he is going to take an attack of opportunity. And he's going to swing towards. Yeah, he's going to swing towards the. He's going to swing towards Green. And he hits. Yeah, He does hit. Hold on. 6. 2, 6, 6. Okay. Nope, that's not good for him at all. Just a second. Um, he reaches towards Green while you're pulling him away, and it's like these smoke tendrils reach out and Green's face, and as it does, you can just feel like he has to make a con save, which he fails. Um, yeah. You can see this green energy like flow out of him into this creature, and this pain like kind of jolts Green. Not like he's not awake, but he like screams as this greenish energy flows out of him as you're backing away with him. And he's going to he opens his eyes for just a little bit as this happens, and as he opens them, you see the crown that is on this creature kind of glow, a reddish tint, as the eyes flutter open for just a moment. Mittens.
I go over to where I see, the giant centaur pacing around, and try to look down in the hole and yell, "What's going on down there?"
You all can respond.
We are under assault.
At this
More so
point,
than-
Ramsey, you've been able even though he attacked, you've been able to get Green to the base of the ladder. So at this point, you see a very like almost emaciated Green in Ramsey's arms as she's pulling him over.
I go down the ladder and pull Green up on top of the deck.
Strength check, DC 10.
16.
16. And you reach down and you can pull Green up onto the deck as long as Ramsey's okay with that. Pulls him up on the deck, and you see Green really emaciated and thin and as up onto the deck. At this point, the smoke goes down the hallway, the hold, floats kind of through and around Warren, and kind of floats through and around Ramsey and moves upwards onto the deck, but it has to use its action to do that. So he's moved through all of you and made it to the deck where Green is, and you can see him, this smoke whirl out of this kind of ladder hole, and the crown on its head has changed from that glowing red back into its gray as Green sits unconscious on the deck.
Do we get attack of opportunity on it?
Sure.
Swipe at it.
I want to try to move Green further away. Right.
I got a 19.
And that hits, but as you swing towards it, it goes straight through. But at this point, you know like something's definitely up. There's and Warren, you would tell that it probably like there's something going on between him and Green. There's a reason why this thing is chasing this creature fervently, and it doesn't even seem to be noticing the rest of you. Wendell, you're up.
All right, is this shadow creature in front of me?
It is.
I would like to take my short sword and try to attack the crown.
Go for it.
That's a 17 to hit.
17 to hit. Hits. As you swing your sword into this crown, it rings with a unnaturally dull thud. Please give me an Arcana check.
That'd be a 5.
Yeah, it's really spooky.
Can anyone watching do a check or no?
Yes, everybody please give me an Arcana check, because you all hear it as it happens. Please do better than 5.
21.
12 plus 3, so 15.
You get an inkling of it, Ramsey. What did Mittens roll?
Another
5. Awesome. Perfect. So you all, y'all are, you have different skill sets, everybody. But Ramsey, you get a hint of this, but you, Warren, you recognize it immediately. That crown is made of stardust. Makes that dull sound when it's struck. You know that is the eternal material from which all things in Limbo are comprised. And the star metal that you've been hearing about, and even the stuff that you've looked at on the ship, none of it had the same quality as stardust. But it seemed to be similar. This is definitely pure stardust, whatever this crown is made of. And you also would know that it doesn't break. You can't break stardust. It is everything. So whatever this thing is, and looking at the connections that you're making, this thing is using that crown to remain invulnerable. It's flowing through it to transition that ability over to itself. But you can feel that there's another link, and you're pretty sure it has something to do with this lizard folk. You saw the crown change color for a moment, but it was when the lizard folk opened his eyes. Next up is Warren, actually.
And I attempt to grab the crown and rip it from this creature.
Give me a strength check.
14.
You grab onto the crown, and it kind of wraps around it, pulling it, and you do feel like you actually are making headway. You feel like you're pulling the crown harder than this thing is pulling back. You don't get it, but you do feel as though it's responding to it, and you're holding something now. And this is also the first time you felt any real resistance um, from this creature at all. I will say that's your turn unless you have a bonus action.
As my bonus action, I tell the rest of the party about, like, there's something about this crown. We need to get this crown away from this thing.
Okay. Everybody, you do hear that? Ramsey, you're up.
Ramsey says, Mittens, keep an eye on the lizard folk, and then he makes a grab for the crown also to try and help Warren wrest it away from this entity.
Excellent.
14 plus 4, 18.
Excellent. With you two's combined might, you pull this crown, and you hear a wail, and it sounds
He has a plate of food for some
sick.
reason.
It sounds old. Just a and this thing turns and faces both of you. But Mittens, you're up.
So they have the crown now, right?
They do. They are holding the crown.
So I'm gonna drop Green back down on the deck and run towards the creature and try to attack it.
Go for it.
They got the crown off of it.
Mm-hmm.
See if it works better this time. That is a 1, so no.
No, a 1 will not do it. Actually, unfortunately, roll me a strength check.
Whoa, you can jump from that high?
18.
18. Warren and Ramsey, please give me a strength saving throw.
Ah!
Was that a Jedi?
17.
15.
As Mittens runs towards this creature, now happy that she probably can strike into it, still like whiffs, and the smoke this time moves out of the way of her. Notice that. But as it moves, she collides into both of you and knocks you all over. And this creature grabs the crown
And his name's Tyler.
and starts beelining. Oh, look, it's its turn. It goes straight for Green, who's on the ground defenseless now.
I have a bonus action, don't I?
You do have another attack. You can go
Or
ahead.
can I try to grab the crown?
Nope, because he used an attack action. You only have your second attack action to go with it.
But it has the crown.
And it does have the crown again. It does have that. That was probably the worst place to natural one ever.
I couldn't help myself, apparently. Could I use dash and try to get back to Green?
To try to
Or-
interpose yourself between the two.
Yeah, or use the rest of my movement to try to get back.
I believe you have something called Step of the Wind, and you can use a key point to use dash as a bonus action. And if you, if you do that, you would be able to make it there.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, you dash over next to him, but now that it has its crown back, it's no longer really paying attention to everyone else, and it bends over, going to try to attack Green on the ground. Yeah, that hits. 11, 12, 23. Oh, wow. Really? Fine. Um, as it swings into Green again, you can see that it sucks more of this green energy out of Green on the ground. And Green is like on his last leg. He just made it through that. He literally made it through that with 2 hit points. Green is still there, but he is looking right now.
Did they though?
Wendell, you're up.
Wendell's going to take his left hand onto the ground and try to yank it out again.
Go for it.
That's a natural 20.
Awesome! And the universe is balanced. The crown is pulled from this creature swiftly as Wendell, now you have possession of a Stardust crown. And the creature now like winces again and turns to face you.
All right.
Nope. Warren, you're up. Warren?
I'm going to cast Magic Missile.
Go for it.
$13 with a wild magic surge.
You triggered the surge?
Yep.
Sweet. And this time you do notice these your missiles land, and they land hard. Go ahead and give me the numbers for your wild magic.
5.
And I think it's 4. Roll 5 just to be sure. I think it's 4. Yeah. Good work. Next, well, and I'm going to find what your wild magic surge is. We're going to go on to Ramsey.
Ramsey is going to stand up and, since he was knocked over, and try to get to Green to use lay on hands if at all possible.
You can go ahead.
Okay, so
I need flesh up.
Paladin level times 5. So.
And you can put as much as you can put as much as you'd like into it. You don't have to put all of it into it.
Yeah, I'm checking how much I have technically.
Okay.
I believe I'll heal him for 10 hit points.
Okay. You put your hands on on the ground. And that healing energy that you did use earlier on him to cure him of his internal energy injury flows from you into Green, but out. It doesn't hold. It feels as though that dark energy that the green energy that's being pulled out of him is more than just his physical body. And as you're putting your lay on hands into him, it is not helping.
Yes, Joe, I see.
And it seems that the damage is of a different sort. Mittens,
Let's try this attacking thing again.
go for it. Hold on, actually, before you go for it, let's look at what happened with that wild magic surge.
Yes.
5064. All right. What? Okay. Target can use his index and middle fingers like scissors.
Okay.
That happens. Was this smoke creature? So it now has scissors. That's a thing. All right, that's great. That's what happens. That's what happens. That's canon. Next up, now you can go ahead and run your attack spins.
First one's 11.
11,
Yes.
miss.
Okay, let's try it again. Um. 14.
14 is a hit.
Sweet. 13 damage.
13, sweet. You feel as though you're pulling into something now, and you feel as though if you didn't have your diamond-studded nails, it wouldn't hurt the creature, but it seems like the magic is helping. And you don't feel your hand catching anything, but you do feel your nails catching something. And the creature responds this time. It moves to the side as these claws strike through it. After Mittens is this thing. It's going to see that things have changed. It's going to turn and... Yep. Phew, that was going to be bad. Okay. It turns and looks at Ramsey, who is trying frantically to heal Green. And he reaches over, and it's as though the smoke makes two fingers, and he just and pulls the last green like juice out of him. Strange happens. Green's eyes open up. Are not normal. They have this sickly green glow. And it seems as though
That's Star Wars?
whatever that stuff that was getting pulled out of him was, it's glowing in his eyes now. And he sits up and seems to almost glow all over with that green energy. And I'm going to roll initiative for green. He's at 11. That puts him before Mittens. Okay, so he sits up. The smoke kind of turns around, doesn't want to provoke any attacks of opportunity right now. So he's going to stay put because he doesn't like that whole thing that... Actually, he's going to risk it. He's going to take an attack of opportunity from anybody who's close to him. So I believe that would be Mittens. And I think that also counts Ramsey and... I think everybody. Everybody gets an attack of opportunity against him. Go for it.
I rolled 28.
You rolled a 28?
I rolled a 19.
Okay.
I got a 17.
Okay.
16 plus 7, so...
And Warren, do you want to try to take a crack at it?
At green?
No, at the creature. Because it looks like it's about to pull away.
Only melee attack, right?
Go for it.
Right?
Opportunity attack, yeah. Everybody hits. Please give me some damage rolls. And we'll see if Warren hits.
11.
20.
11 plus 4, so 15.
Okay.
That's a 5 for me.
Okay. And Warren?
6.
Okay. Give me just a second.
He's crawling.
Oh, look at the baby, Mama. Up here, the baby.
Yep. I don't know if that was a good move for him, but we'll find out. As you all turn and strike into him, right? Everybody, as he's trying to get away, you notice that it's really only Mitten's claws that do a lot of damage to this thing. The rest of the hits, it winces, but it doesn't seem to be as affected by the others. But it takes the risk and escapes, goes through, gets hit by everyone, but it immediately dives into the other hold. And that's its turn. Wendell, you're up.
I look over at Green to see. I say, "Are you all right?"
And Green doesn't respond with words. He opens his mouth and a kind of sickly old sound leaves his throat. Doesn't seem like he made it. It seems like a sickly sound just left his body without his will.
After that, I maneuver the crown onto my arm to have it better situated on my arm, so have a free hand.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I guess watch Green for a little bit, see what he does.
You want to hold an action?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the trigger would be if he attacks an ally, I'll attack him.
Sounds good. Next up is Warren.
I chase after the mist.
You run after down into the hold. You make it, I would say, because this one is farther away, because you have to go over to the other hole and make it down to the bottom. If you want to stand at the top, you could and try to look in and see something. But if you want to get down in there, then it would take a dash.
And that'd be my full action.
Yeah.
But if I look, then
You would be if you do a DC 13 perception and you get a good view of it, then you could try to make an attack from up top, or you can use the full move and get down in there.
I'm going to try to stay at top and see where it's coming from.
Go for it. Give me a DC 13 perception.
I got a 18.
18. You see it is approaching Sapphire, who is sleeping by the door to the navigation room.
Like, there's nothing else around it. No one else.
No, the captain's in his room off to the side. You see he's going towards Sapphire right now.
Okay. I'm going to cast. Where are you? Shatter.
Awesome. You're going to do it in a way so it doesn't hit Sapphire yet, but it's going to hit him.
Correct.
Go for it. Now I'm making a saving throw, correct?
Yes. And it will be DC 16.
Is it what is it? Constitution? Is it Wisdom? I think it's Con for
I
Shatter.
think you're right.
He gets a 22.
Okay. That's 11 points of damage, and
Is that cut in half?
yes.
He takes 11, right?
No, he takes half of 11.
Half of 11.
And wild magic was triggered.
Excellent. Give me another roll on it. Okay. And this thing looks like it's having trouble keeping itself together. It's not doing really well. It seems like it's prioritizing this to try to do something. Ramsey, you're up. You notice that this creature didn't go into the hole. It kind of just went through the ground, and so it was able to move a lot faster. So you all, in order to get to it, would have to get right up next to it. You'd have to use a dash. Or feline agility, whatever. But Ramsey, you're up.
I'm gonna move towards it, but not dash. Just move my full movement speed.
All right, you've made it to the kind of hole, and you're looking down into it, and you can see that the creature is down there now, and you can see. Well, actually, no. Give me a perception check first before I say what you can see.
13.
Just enough. You can see the creature down there, and you can see Sapphire is starting to shake like he's having some sort of nightmare. You still have your action. Oh, that's a 9,000. 9,000s are really crazy.
While we're waiting for the wild magic surge,
Yeah, go ahead and go for
I'm
it.
going to cast magic missile because that's in the Logic Paladin list.
It is in the Logic Paladin's list. Go for it.
You holy missile if it's a paladin.
12 plus 7 to hit.
That is a conversation you will have to have with Logic Paladin. but he does. That is something that he can definitely do, and it is not a holy missile at all. Actually,
It's I believe it's force damage.
it is force damage. So how much
One
damage
second.
does it do?
Yeah, let me actually look at the dice real quick for it. Okay, 3 darts. 1 second. Okay. 5, 3, 4 on the darts.
Okay.
Jeez. Including the +1 on each of them.
1d4.
Yeah, I think each dart is 1d4.
Okay, so that was including the +1.
Yeah.
As you lean over the side, describe how your magic missiles destroy this smoke creature. These magic missiles that no one knows that a paladin can do fires into this smoke creature.
I'd say they're probably the same green as Ramsey's eyes, and his joints glow in places, and they just sort of
Mark,
slam into it. What?
the Lord is in his tower.
It just kind of, the missiles don't like come out of his hand.
Yeah.
It shoots out of the joints and flies around and crashes into the creature just as he's about to reach towards Sapphire. And right before it grabs it, the missiles slam into its back. It screams and evaporates into smoke. As it does so, you also see on the deck Wendell and Warren. You all no Wendell. Actually, everybody who's up there with Green, you see Green immediately also fall to the ground and turn into a greenish smoke. Finally, Warren, please give me the description of creature.
What was that?
Give me a description of a sentient creature.
Okay. Redheaded half elf.
Okay. How old?
'84.
Does he look militant or civilian?
Kind of bummy.
All right. You see on the ground in front of Sapphire a red-headed half-elf who looks fairly old, tattered clothes that look like they are worn and just kind of old. But you also notice that his head, his shoulders, his knees, his legs, all of it are all full of bullet holes. There's all these punctures through his body. It's laying right in front of Sapphire.
Window. What did you do?
This unit cannot see. He does not know what he does.
I check the body for any identification or anything.
Doesn't seem to have much on him. Um, Give me an investigation check.
15.
I would say, describe to me what a archaeologist would use to chronicle his story. Specifically, a Limbonaut.
Like a flash drive?
Yeah.
Thumb drive?
You pull a thumb drive off of him. I don't know if you entirely know what it is, but you do know that this belonged to whatever this creature was. I'm going to fast forward a bit. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before I fast forward to Dawn?
What, Joe?
I took out a Star Destroyer's bridge by crashing my X-Wing into it.
Sweet. But but is there anything anyone wants to do before daybreak? No? Yes? No?
No, I think we're good.
Good. Okay. Um, the sun comes up and you feel that temperature jump again and again and again and again, and it gets warm and hot and humid, and you all are almost there. And as you kind of go around one last bend, you can see this very large monolith of stone. And about this time, Gold and Sapphire wake up. Yeah, everybody, you get a short rest. Actually, yeah, a short rest. You would be able to do a short rest, not a long one. But you all kind of wake up, and I mean, the Gold and Sapphire kind of wake up, and they see you all, and they're both like shaking their heads. They're groggy, and they don't look like they slept very well. And they come to the captain's quarters, and actually no, they come up onto the deck, and they see you all, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I had a horrible, horrible nightmare. We, it was like we saw Vindar again. It was like he came here with. Where's Green?" Well, they don't say where's Green. They're like, where's the other one? And they look around. And
You were assaulted in the night by some sort of entity.
Or afternoon.
what? Where is it? Did you kill it?
Yes.
Do you all show him the body?
I definitely point out the body.
He looks, and he kind of bends over, and this is Vindar. What is? and he kind of like backs up a bit. And what is he doing here? And Sapphire sees this and immediately like loses it. And he turns and starts screaming, "This is your fault! That's what's been happening! It's you! This has been you!" Okay, Sapphire starts running towards Gold, looking like he's going to try to kill him. He's actually bringing out his sword, and Gold seems to not try to even resist.
I want to cast Calm Emotions.
Go for it. What's my DC?
16, I believe.
16 wisdom. He fails. Whew. So he runs and like you. Oh, roll the magic. Roll the wild magic. But he runs and slowly breathes and just calms and just. This is Vindar. He was like you. He showed up out of nowhere, landed at the mouth of the river. Everybody was worried and scared, and this one, and he points to Gold, killed him, shot him to death, and kept shooting him. That was before we went on our trip. That was before we didn't tell the elders. We didn't tell anyone. This was a curse. This is why we've been seeing these images at night, these terrifying images of Vindar. Seems you all have killed him again. But I can't take a name for this. You, and he looks at Gold, we will return. And we will tell them what you did. Maybe then we will have peace. And you all notice that the panthers that had been following the boat are no longer following the boat. They're nowhere to be seen. Sapphire puts the body of Vindar, now named, on his back, puts his hands over his chest, and takes a scale off of his face, one of the sapphire scales, and raises it to the sun, and then places it on Vindar's chest. And that is where we will end our session for tonight. Thank you all very much. Whew. That was great.
That was pretty fun.
Cool. Wow. That was awesome. So before we sign off, I want to reveal some things. First, about an hour before this session started, I had everybody, I asked some questions to everyone to set up the session, because this is Limbo, and it is heavy Limbo. So I asked everybody to answer a specific question. I'm going to give the answers now, and I'm going to kind of explain what's been going on. So I believe Damien, yep. Damien, I asked for the time, and his response was high noon. and that's why you all woke up at high noon, and that's why when the moon was at the fullest in the sky, trying to follow the sun's example, that is when the creature attacked. Scott, I asked, what was it? Yes, I asked for the an occupation. Scott said fisherman, specifically crab fisherman. I got you all on a boat. Didn't make it to the crabs or the fish, mostly because what was in the barrel. Somebody was like metal or ore of some kind, so we went that route, which was it was still cool. Um, and then when I asked Jen the location, and she said literally 2 words: Panther Jungle. So you can thank her for all the panthers.
Scott's the one who made it 42 of them. Okay.
Well, you don't know what could happen. So
Thanks,
there's
Scott.
so many of them.
Glad we didn't have to fight all of them.
I am too. I thought about it for a second, but then I decided against it. And then the last one was Mara, and I asked her for a problem, and she had responded nightmares and smoke. And so, yeah, that's kind of what built this whole thing. It was a lot of fun to try to put all these different random suggestions together. But I'm pretty sure the last thing that everybody's wondering about is the second wild magic surge. And what happened with it? I literally looked at the chart, and Scott, could you please tell me the number that you rolled again? What was the number? Say it out loud.
9152.
9152. Literally 9152. An anonymous corpse appears nearby, riddled with bullets. That's exactly. That fit way too well. So, thank you all very much for a fantastic
So that was
time.
already planned. It just,
No, nope, it was not. It was not planned. This entire session was not planned. Not a single thing of it was planned. I want to stress that so much. I came up with I had to come up with everything. And no, as soon as that happened and you made that roll, I was like, that's exactly why this curse happened. That's perfect. So yeah, if you hadn't made that roll, I would not have had a conclusion to this story. So it would have just been a monster. But that roll was perfect. It tied that whole bad boy together. So thank you all very much. We're going to stop the broadcast. We can stay on for a little bit if you like, but I really appreciate this game. This was the first heavy Limbo game that I enjoyed a whole lot with you guys. So let's go around the table really quick. Just give a sign off. Tell me how you felt about it, and just general feelings, and then we'll go on to the next one. So I'll go Scott first.
it was good. Just as good as any other ones. Maybe Limbo's always fun.
Cool. It's good to hear. Mara?
I liked it a lot. It tied together weirdly nicely.
I did. It tied really weirdly together. I'll to call you by your character's name. Jen.
It was fun. Um, very sorry about the displacer beast.
Yeah, you just fed everyone displacer beasts.
Yeah, I did. I just here you go. This thing that's really hard to hit. It's just yeah.
Yep. But y'all dispatched of those displacer beasts really easily. So good work on that. And Damien.
I have to say, I had a lot of fun playing this game, including the fact that I finally get to play a gunslinger.
Has a lot. That dead eye shot on that last displacer beast was golden. That's exactly what you want to do as a gunslinger. Um, you did like 20 some damage. That was all of its. That was like more than all of its all it had left. So good work, everybody. This was great. I love heavy limbo because I never know how it's gonna go, and I have like 2 seconds to come up with everything. It's a ton of fun. I encourage anybody to try it out. It's an unorthodox way to run some games, but they make some of the most memorable settings and campaigns that we've had. So thank you all very much. I'll stop the broadcast and respect the royal.